Transhumanism, it was a term that really took on meaning, I would say, in the late 90s, but even going back to 1995. And this was a covert plan funded by Bill Gates, BlackRock, many organizations to, in the future, create a AI-based humanoid. Okay, transhumanism means the conversion of a human into some other species by man, okay, but not by God. So their definition, according to Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, and the powers that are running the world, is to use nanotechnology to create a human 2.0, which would be a half human, half machine cyborg that can be connected to the cloud, that can be connected to AI, that can be controlled by electromagnetic frequencies via all the cell phone towers and all of the routers in your home and the blue lights, etc. So basically, it would be a human that has self-replicating, self-assembling nanotechnology within its system that can receive messages, that can transmit messages, that they would have full control over what you're doing, your mental state, your physical state, and your spiritual state. So in my personal opinion and many others, it's a full takeover. Now, this is not to say that they're going to win and do this, but this is their plan. And you can read about it online. You can pull it up if you go to DuckDuckGo or even Google. You can just type in, Ray Kurzweil and, all of the individuals' plans of taking over humanity. And it's more of a way to control you, okay? They want full control over the earth. They want full control over man. They want full control over everything. So that's basically what the transhumanism agenda is all about. They're using lipid nanoparticle technology. They're using unseen things. They've got to the point now where they can do things without us even seeing it, feeling it, hearing it, touching it, smelling it, anything. And we've been identifying these things under the microscope. And I mean, there's hundreds of patents on this stuff. There's hundreds of documents on this stuff, on polymers, on yeast being able to produce polyethylene glycol, the mesogens, the wide body area network that they're tapping into, the graphene hydroxide, the graphene oxide they're using, the microplastics, the inorganic minerals that people are accumulating in their system, the amount of metals people have in their system, the antennas and the micro robots that are forming. We're even identifying now synthetic red blood cells. How do we know they're synthetic? Because we can put fire to the screen and our normal red blood cells will burn away. And then there's red blood cells that are left there. So they've been working on synthetic red blood cells since they finalized it actually around 2020. They've been able to create synthetic red blood cells. And guess what they've used to do that? They used yeast to do that. They used S. cerevisiae, brewer's yeast, which is the yeast that we've been studying the most, which is able to hold graphene oxide, graphene hydroxide. It's able to, basically everything that we're talking about right now. Granted, this is a lot of could be fearful and scary stuff. But if we understand what they're doing and how they're doing it, then behind the scenes, we can work on ways to protect your body and detoxify and to neutralize and to get rid of all these things. So you can choose. Do I want to turn into a robot or do I not want to turn into a robot? So all in all, with all that stuff being said, I would say that we are in good times. I don't think I know that we are winning. We are in a transformational great awakening process right now, which God is shaking everything up, and that's fine. We all have to go through pain and trauma and suffering to get to the other side, to transform. Don't get down on it. If you're going through pain or if you're going through trauma or you're going through suffering or anyone in your family is, ask the question, why is this? What am I supposed to learn from this? How can I improve? Now, when you ask those questions, the answers will come to you. If you go, I'm going to take my mom to the doctor, the medical doctor, you're giving away your powers. That's the situation that we're in right now. The reason why people have so much pain and trauma and suffering, because they've been giving their powers away their whole life. To transform, you have to take back your self-confidence. You have to take back your health. You have to take responsibility for your own life instead of saying, blaming that doctor for not getting you better. Now is the time of the great awakening and the great transformation, but it all starts from within, not from without. The biggest thing for me, the biggest concern is the stealth part of it. The stealth, like you don't see it coming. You don't feel it. It's just, it's there. And we're starting to see that in people's blood, whether they got the bioweapon shot or not. And to me, it's that aspect of it's just going to come up out of nowhere. And right now, everybody even talking about all this nanotech and this transhumanism stuff, we're being labeled as crazy conspiracy theorists. The gluten, the alcohol, the sugar, will ferment inside your body, and they are feeding the yeast with the sugar. And the brewer's yeast, for example, which is contained in alcohol, secretes alcohol as a byproduct and does more damage to the liver. I mean, think about the damage sugar does to the liver. Think about the damage alcohol does to the liver. Think about the damage all the chemicals and toxins do to the liver. It's estimated now that the phase 2 detoxification system, phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification system in people's livers are only working at 10 to 15%. And honestly, I don't even think in most people they're working even that much. Control, the ability for them to completely control your mind, your physical body, and I don't believe they can ever take over your soul, but the mind really has so much to do with everything. It's becoming that like half cyborg. That's kind of like, and especially they're doing it without anybody's consent. Okay, they're spraying the stuff in the air, they're putting it on the food, they're putting it on the water. And really, my biggest concern when I started looking at Sabrina Wallace's research, she's the whistleblower that came out that's been in this industry for over 30 years. And she started releasing documentation of dating back to 1995, 1999, where they did all the studies on people and on animals to where they could completely take the thoughts out of their mind and infuse whatever thought they wanted into the people's brain. Whether it was a suicidal thought, they could actually create disease, they could create depression, they could create anxiety. Most of the things they were creating were negative. There wasn't much research on them creating frequencies of love and positive thoughts, but they were able to literally control movement too. They were able to control rats through a maze just by having the nanotechnology inside their body. And they were also able to gather all the information, your cellular memory, your DNA, all that just through what they call the wide body area network. And now they have the medical body area network as well. So, I mean, to me, it was just like shocking to know that they're that far ahead of the game, and me asking the question, like, what in our life right now is not engineered? It takes you years and years and years of poisoning your body to get sick. And everybody just expects this fast, easy, take a pill kind of a thing and they're going to recover. No, it takes you taking responsibility since you poisoned yourself and got yourself in a situation. I mean, I'm not saying that, but ultimately you are to blame.
Of course we are.
For everything that happens within yourself, and you taking responsibility to then give yourself that hope and that confidence to get better and actually do it is a whole nother thing. And then you will be able to heal yourself.
are entering a new era now, this IT bio-nano era, where increasingly through the use of nanotechnology, which has been developed over the course of the last 15, 20 years or so, it becomes possible to hook human bodies up to an external control network and interface with human bodies directly through EMF, for example. Now, the possibilities of this are actually quite terrifying, because what it means is that you can track and trace everybody at all times in all places, and they'll never be able to get away. Or in theory, you could target them for remote control assassination, or possibly even torture, as the targeted individual's community is at pains to stress.